Hey, good Monday, everybody, and welcome inside the studio. Chad Rosema here to host the action on, as I mentioned off the top of the changes. It's a new work week for many, and, you can have the Monday blahs. For us, however, it's kind of our so-called Friday, as we're going to get a couple of dark days after this, as we are wrapping up another 5-day stretch. There'll only be probably a few more weeks of that 5-day stretch before we get into that fall and winter schedule, which outside the way the weather is, as I bring John Rallis in, it has us feeling like it's fall, John. And I mean, the calendar says we're basically a month away from summer being done, and we don't want it to be done, that's for sure. But I'm sure the warm weather will still be back.
Yeah, it's funny enough talking about fall, because I was obviously doing some trot work leading up to print date, and one of the questions we have for Bits and Bytes for our participants was, when do you know it's the first sign of fall coming? And everybody had different answers. For me, it's the start of football season. That's really what signifies fall for me, is the start of the NFL season, which is just a couple of weeks away. And I know you and I both excited for the start of that. And it always gets me jazzed up. But we can't spend all day watching football on Sundays. At least I can't anymore for the time being.
Yeah, it used to be for me when my boys were going back to school.
Okay.
But now my boys have been out of school, the one for several years, and then the other one just a couple of years now. So, I don't have that, and it just seems like summer just goes faster and faster and faster.
Yep.
But, once you get there and you have some kids in that, that time's just going to fly, John. I'm telling you.
Those were the days.
You're still way young.
Those were the days. But speaking of weekends, I'm waiting for Thursday to be my weekend. That's just going to be the day where I do nothing.
Yeah.
Just recharge the batteries for what's going to be a busy weekend. I don't think I've got any responsibilities on the agenda there. I get a day off from Standard Break Canada. I get a day off from here. I know you say this.
I can't wait till you're in here on Friday and you and I are chatting, and I'm like, oh, what'd you end up doing? And it was probably a bunch.
Yeah.
They're probably going to fly to Australia to work some horse racing there or something. Yeah, who knows?
Oh, I'm off. I'm off duty right there. So Thursday's going to be the day where I recharge, because we've got a lot going on the next several weeks.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we got a lot coming up this weekend. We'll have more on that in a few moments. We want to go back to yesterday. I know you were solo yesterday. Got to take in the action. There were some grassroots, but I did see one race. I just happened to tune in. I was out to dinner, and I tuned in, and I saw the opener. And Tough Gong was, like 1-5 or something like that, heavily favored. Nobody really came home quickly in here, even the winner, but you didn't have to come home too quick. And Trevor Henry was able to deliver at a massive price.
And he was actually back in the paddock for a shoeing change. As they were approaching the gate, you could see Trevor Henry getting off the bike, and he picked up a loose shoe. So I don't know what the study is or what the statistics are. It always seems like when horses go for a shoeing change to come back out,
Andy talks about
they put forth a pretty good effort. I don't have numbers to back it up, but 45-1 on this charge of Scott McEnany's. And I actually liked a couple of his efforts early on. I just didn't think he was going to be able to show enough gate speed to be competitive. But as you mentioned, Chad, when you come home in 31 and change, or 31 seconds, whatever it was, anyone's got an opportunity to win.
And then a couple of divisions last night on the grassroots with the 3-0 Colton Gelding Trotters. Trouble with names, able to get it done in the opening division.
Yeah, he's supposed to capitalize in a spot like this, right? We know at his best he's a gold colt, so he dropped down to the grassroots. He was able to deliver a gate-to-wire score. Some urging there by Bob McClure, but nice to see this guy back into the winner's circle. Actually, a couple of Paul Reed charges last night I thought put forth good efforts, and Trouble with Names was one of those.
Yeah, we're seeing others do that now in the other levels. You're kind of halfway through the season series, and they're saying, you know what, let's try some grassroots here. And, it doesn't mean you can't get into the gold later. You know what I'm saying? So just sort of playing where they feel they fit right now. So Trouble with Names taking advantage of that. And then Mike Me Up last night, able to get a win of 55.
Yeah, another grassroots score for Mike Me Up. I know he tried the golds a couple of times to no avail, but it's a game effort. I mean, this was a big-time challenge here by James McDonald and Stonebridge Wings. He came first over a long way, and they went toe-to-toe, but ultimately Tyler Borth and his Kyle Fellows charge just able to draw away, but some pretty good efforts from a couple of horses in the backfield. I believe that's Thorby Good up the inside, who gets the second place finish there, but Mike Me Up, he's been sharp. I mean, that's 3 straight wins for this Kyle Fellows trainee.
And then also last night early on, unless you were, you're in the inner circle of Paul McDonnell, you didn't really know that this, we knew that he was transitioning to retirement. We just didn't know when was that going to be it. And he had decided last night with a wire-to-wire on Gala that was going to be it.
Yeah, everybody was under the impression it was going to be October, and he ultimately just decided he was going to do it a little bit sooner. But what a reception there by Paul McDonnell. And I talked about it with him, in the post-race interview, and I just hearing people and seeing the reception, just indicative of what people thought of Paul and the respect that they had for him. I mean, he's a first-class individual.
And that's exactly it. When you say first class, I sent Paul a message, last night after I saw this coming through on social media. Wish I could have been here for it because would have loved to have been a part of that. I know you got a chance to interview him. Paul, that is simply it. Class is what rounds him out. He has always been one of my favorites, with a performer on the track. But just right here in the paddock, one of the things I'll miss him not being around here is just shooting the breeze with him. He's just a fun guy to chat with and talk horses. I went out to his barn a couple of years ago and just got talking with him and Billy Windsor and he's just such an awesome, and it's not that he wears red and white, but it's funny because when I think of Canadian harness racing, he's one of the first names that come to my mind.
Agreed. Yep, agreed. And for him, he was actually obviously elated to have his family there.
Yeah.
A part of the the celebration, but he got emotional when the guys came out. I mean, he didn't
imagine.
expect everybody to come out in the paddock and embrace him the way that they did. So I think that's ultimately what got him even more choked up. But he didn't expect that. But it was cool for him to see, and it was cool for the guys to be a part of it. It was a bit of a somber day in that driver's room, I heard. Especially when you see a legend like Paul McDonnell,
so likable.
Not being there, knowing that he's not going to be around, anymore here. But best of luck to him in retirement. I know he's going to have a lot of fun just relaxing and watching some hockey. We know he loves his hockey.
Yeah, I think he's a Leafs fan, though.
Yeah. He's got good taste.
What?
Yeah, he's got good taste.
Well, we'll argue there, I guess. But no, Paul, wishing you all the best, you and your family. Enjoy this next chapter in your life, but don't be a stranger. We'd love to still see him out here every once in a while.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to pop in.
And I mentioned just about class. I mean, every year he's at that Canadian Horse Racing Hall of Fame event. I mean, some guys typically don't show up year after year. I think Paul knows what it means to be a part of that club and just the respect that he wants to show for his peers, from past and present. So, again, just all class.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. Paul's won a bunch of stakes in his career. We are ramping up into kind of our Grand Circuit meet. We do have some Grade 1 finals on Saturday, but we also have some eliminations if required. So today was the deadline for supplements. Now, there wasn't anything on Maple Leaf Trot. If limbs are required, that's going to be Friday. Draw days tomorrow for both Friday and Saturday. That's the plan. Now, the Canadian Pacing Derby got a couple of supplements. I was hearing Best Chip was going to possibly supplement. He did, and he blitzed the Meadowlands Oval on Hambo Day in 46-1. So he's still the fastest this year so far.
He is.
Right?
Yeah.
And then II Captain Deo, what was he, second the other night?
Second,
Rally?
a good second.
Yeah.
I think you just, Gary Mariner talking about that he just had to go through, a few things. And that's why we saw some of those lackluster efforts for his standards, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good effort to kind of give us an indication that he's trending back to the horse that we saw at the graduate level. We know he's a fast horse, and there's going to be some speed to chase.
And then tell me about the mare, the lone mare that will go into the Grade 2 Milton.
She looks like an airplane to me. I mean, I've seen her race 4 times at Yonkers. This is an Ecurie CSL purchase from New Zealand. We know that they purchased a bunch of horses, from over there, and have raced across North America. But she's had a couple of wins, back-to-back victories, I should say, at Yonkers. She is fast.
Yeah, I'm being told 51-4.
51-4, yeah.
You got over that oval?
Exactly. Wow. That was her most recent score. Yeah. But she had some bad draws to work with, and she still flew home quickly. And that's not easy to do from post 8 at Yonkers to finish, first and second respectively in a couple of efforts. But that most recent outing, first over from post number 2 as the overwhelming 1-9 favorite. And Pat Lachance just looked like a passenger in the bike. So he's done a really nice job with this mare. I'm really excited to see her come here and race in this stakes event. I know Twinbee Joe Fresh, all eyes are going to be on her. I know with Unreasonable, off that most recent score, people are going to be looking at her. I think France at those going to make some noise here in the Milton Stakes. I'm excited.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. Just some of the big stakes that we've got coming up. So again, some supplements, and it wasn't cheap. I mean, for France, I think it was 20,000. Yep. But then for the Pacing Derby, 40? Was it 40 or 30?
You know what? I can't recall what it was. Okay.
Okay, 40, so yeah, 40,000. Wow.
You know what? Best Chip's so interesting. I mean, you don't see horses lose a non-winners at 2,500 earlier this year and then come up and climb up the class ladder. Look, he's responded really well in Joe Bongiorno's barn. He's been really pleased with the way that he's been coming along, and I think he's earned the right to try, Stakes Company. He raced against Stakes Company at Scioto and I think another stakes event. He put forth really good efforts in those events, so I'm looking forward to watching
some good older ones. Irvin bounced back.
Big qualifier.
Sharp qualifier here last week, so we know that he'll be back into the mix and others. So looking forward to the entries coming out tomorrow for both Friday and Saturday. We're going to have a look at some stats and standings. It is Monday, what took place over the last week or so. And these could have a bit of a different look because we did have guys that were out of town. especially on the weekend. Bob McClure, though, having himself a real nice last 5 days here, going 6 for 37 for a nice 16% clip. Daryl Thiessen, I know there was a night there on I think it was Saturday where he won a couple. He went 4 for 22. It's not a bad little percentage for him either.
No, but he picked up some pretty good pieces as well over the last few cards as well. And Bob McClure, a couple of those wins, or one of those wins, I should say, coming with Data Privacy. Yeah. That peaceful way elimination. How good was she, though, Chad? Coming from way out of it to score. And
off of having 58.
Yeah, just shooting.
You're not supposed to close
Absolutely not. And obviously the first full of Donna Soprano, Philly, and that was really
This is Luke Blaze time.
Yep,
right?
it is.
He gets them firing on all cylinders for those big stakes events.
Pacing Philly was good, too. I thought showing some early gate speed, Rockin' J. Deo?
Yep.
I believe it. Yep. I thought that, solid effort there by Data Breach as well, who's going to start from post number 7 in the William Wellwood Memorial.
Got a bunch of good horses going.
Yeah, like you said, Luke Blaine Stakes. This is the time of year, and we see Sangria Summer now back-to-back stakes scores in the 3-year-old Philly Pace division. She's legit.
She's thrust herself right up there now.
Absolutely.
With everybody, right? Yeah, no, it's great. Looking forward to Lou Deepa coming back, though, when she comes back.
Yeah. Just, I think, underwent throat surgery as well.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah. As far as trainers, Jody Cullen. I know you guys were talking the other night. I know on Saturday they had a whole bunch out there. They ended up getting the 1 win or 2 wins.
Saturday they had 2 wins. Captain Hurley as well.
Some other favorites weren't really, and it kind of seemed like they weren't maybe firing, but then they did get a couple of wins.
Glenborough disappointed as the favorite, as did Sunshine Magic, but then it was Koning Cigar Box and Captain Hurley both the favorites in their respective races who delivered on the back half of the program. So just a slow start, but they finished up well.
Yeah, and you got Melander in town now, so he's obviously, we're going to probably see a bunch of him over the next several weeks.
He loves Canada.
The young trotters, with the young trotters, and then also you got to think he's going to send some up for the Maple Leaf Trot.
Yep.
And also dealing with Kentucky and things of that nature. Greg McNair, I feel like we're seeing his name regularly on here now.
All these
he's having a really nice summer.
Yeah, big time, and I think he could have a big night tonight as well. I mean, anytime we see him, put forth, charges in the provincial program, he's always, having horses that are right up there, and he's had a pretty good go of things over the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. All right. Tonight's card, what do you think as a whole?
I think it's, some races. I thought there were some races where you could fade some heavy chalk, but one of which was is unfortunately going to be scratched. Exactly. Yeah. So I thought he was one that was a little bit susceptible given his effort last time out at Lexington. I thought he should have fared a little bit better given the trip and the talent that he possesses, but nevertheless, I think that there's some favorites that you can still fade throughout the program, and I think there's a couple of favorites that you can go all in on in those multi-leg sequences as well.
All right, well, we've got a bunch to talk about. We're going to cover most of the races that we can here in the time given. John obviously is going to cover every race throughout the night. We start the program off with the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5 nominators of 1 trot. Batting board right now is pretty good, and it's funny that we get to lead right into this because I was going to say to you, what do you make of Mighty Morgan? Kirk Thomas brings one here that he's been developing at Kawartha Downs. We've seen this movie before. Kirk, has sent them, here in the past, but now this one coming off of a win in 58 at Kawartha, and you pick up James McDonald to boot.
Yeah, one that I have rated highly. I mean, she did get beaten in a prospect like a couple of starts ago, so it kind of makes you wonder just, can you go all in on this filly? I couldn't in a spot like this, but I think this is one that merits respect. And right now, your current 7-2 favorite. But it's early in the betting cycle, so we know that number can fluctuate up or down. But she merits respect. But I think Carmen High's Charge was probably the one to beat in here. I think that she's had a little bit of difficulty steering as of late. But I think that she showed improvement in that aspect last time out in a runner-up effort to an overwhelming chalk. So I think that, do you need the machine? I think she's one that if, handled accordingly, I think is going to have a big opportunity to pick up a victory here this evening.
When I came into the paddock, I saw you chatting to Carm out there. Did you strong arm him for some answers?
I tried. He seems, he seems fairly confident, but he knows that, this filly's got some quirks, right? I mean, just again, steering, that's been a bit difficult for her. But if you notice in some of those efforts, as Carm reminded me, when she stayed on the rail and waits till the head of the lane to take her shot, she's a lot better, right? I mean, Trevor did that last time out. I believe Travis did move her first over a couple of starts ago ahead of that final turn. And she started motoring home, but when you move her at that point, he said it's just tough sledding for her to kind of steer as she's approaching that turn. So I think she's a big factor in here, without a doubt, and I think she's getting better and better.
Another horseman that I just love shooting the breeze with.
He's the best.
Carmen High.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, no, so good luck to him. I think it's a sweep on the board of this one here, but James McDonald obviously taking support on Mighty Morgan. We're going to skip over race number 2. We're going to go to the 3rd next. That starts the early pick 4, and it's our first look at the grassroots. We've got more here tonight, 3 divisions for the 2-year-old pacing fillies, starting to get late But again, a sign that fall is just around the corner. Leg 4 for the 2-year-old pacing fillies. We've got a group of 7 in here. And again, you're going to find throughout, the card here tonight, not specifically in this division, but some that maybe tried gold earlier and are, sort of, going to try a different direction. Jack Darling's got himself a Bulldog Hanover filly coming off of a 51-4 win. It's incredible when you think that 51-4 and you're in the grassroots.
Yep. It's a big effort.
Yeah. And Jack doesn't mind putting them in there. It doesn't mean he's not going to try the gold next year. If she ups her game, but right now looks very good. But she's bred to be great at a Bulldog and at a Yellow Diamond, who we got to see compete here in the past as well.
Yeah, I thought that this was a really good effort by her. She followed a pretty good trip last time out and was able to deliver off a pocket trip, but she got the chance. Bob got the opportunity to sit behind her last time out, and he delivered. He's going to be back aboard this filly tonight. I believe he's driving a couple of Jack Darling charges this evening, and obviously he and Dea teaming up for a nice gold score last time that they competed as well. So Diamond's best friend, just curious to see what kind of trip she's going to work out from the rail, especially I think with some horses leaving to her outside. But I mean, Bob's got options. He can remove potential if he wants to. He can follow cover like he did last time out. This filly's got some versatility, but I do find her a little bit better when she's up in close, right? I think when she's either cutting the mile or sitting in the 2-hole like she was last time out, I think that's going to bode a lot better for her as opposed to working out a tougher trip.
All right, Lions Bulldog, as we're looking at what's going on in the grassroots. Again, it's getting to be crunch time. It's the penultimate leg in the series. Lions Bulldog sitting good, as is Diamond's best friend, as we talk about. So we'll see a bunch of these, obviously, racing here tonight. But then some that are maybe just joining it or playing some catch up that need some much needed points to secure a spot into the top 10. So you ended up going where on top?
I went Midnight Matrimony. And speaking of needing points, that's a filly that definitely needs some points here. She had to miss some time, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
And
we're going to see her last race, right?
She broke her maiden last time out. I thought that she was in a perfect spot. Look, this is a filly.
Spot to take advantage of.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. I thought she was the 6-5 choice, I believe, in this spot. 6-5 or 4-5, but nevertheless, she delivers. I thought she was going to get the job done personally. Like you said, I thought this was a perfect opportunity for her to break her maiden. The start prior, that was a big mile that she paced after missing all that time. It's not like she qualified in between efforts. I thought that this was exactly what she needed. You could see Doug McNair, as soon as they tip out for home, he's just going to get covered up and angle her out a little bit later than he wanted to, but just to keep her brave, and she just starts to motor home. He's going to ask her a little bit. She does get a little bit crooked, bit of a concern there for me, but once she straightens out, she starts to pace well. You can see Doug just kind of keeping her straight, but not really asking much of her in this spot, and he knows he's got this measured and well in hand. This is a filly that qualified super, though, Chad, and unfortunately she was scratched at a post parade in her career debut, and then we never saw her for a little bit, and I thought,
that's right.
She was one that
that night scratch.
Yeah, that's right. And I thought
Henry had one.
Yeah, that's right. And I thought that was one that was going to make some big noise in start number 1. I know Randy really liked her. I certainly liked her when I was watching from home in that spot. So I think she needed that start 2 back. I thought she got the job done last time out. And here she is in a grassroots leg needing points. This filly's got a lot of talent, and I think in those qualifying efforts, she gave me the indication that she's better than a grassroots filly. But I think at this point, having missed time and being a little bit behind, I think this is where she just needs to be right now.
Yeah, and again, she's playing that catch-up.
Exactly.
She needs points. She needs a couple of starts here in the grassroots as well. Diamond's best friend, who, again, things are going well for her right now. We are going to have a look back at her latest grassroots, but you want to focus in on another one that was second to her.
Biscuits in the Basket. This is a filly that I've really liked. I think she's put forth really good efforts in all 3 of her outings. And you're going to see Diamond's best friend. Obviously, she's popping the 2-hole in this particular spot, and she's going to end up delivering. But there's James McDonald, 4th over, but gapping a couple of lengths with this Metcrone trainee, and this filly's got some go, though, Chad. I mean, she doesn't always get away in the best of spots. At times, she has a tendency to gap a little bit. There has been times where she's had a tendency to run in, but she's got some speed, and look when she hits the straightaway, just how fast that she starts to go. And Diamond's best friend, she's already gotten away from the field, and she just starts to open up. Bob's asking of her, but this is a big mile, 51 and change. I know she was following, but still, really big effort for her to go the rest of the way. And Diamond's Biscuits in the Basket, unfortunately, just running out of racetrack. But I thought this was a really, really good effort.
Strong, though.
Look, she's going to get a lot of support here, deservedly so. Can a Midnight Matrimony find that extra speed late in the mile that's good enough to contest with the Diamond's best friend or Biscuit in the Basket? I don't know, But this is the night I know I'm going to get some value on this Greg McNair trainee, so that's why I'm opting to go that direction tonight.
Did something click for Manery's filly last time? I mean, I know she didn't win, but she just missed. It's arguably the best she's ever been.
Best she's ever been. I know JR actually really patient drive. He gave her clear racetrack. It looked like she was going to win, but again, nobody seems to want to go by this Lions Bulldog.
Yeah.
She just got...
More credit to Lions Bulldog.
Yeah,
right?
big time. I mean, she just doesn't want to get past. She waits on them, but the moment they come up alongside of her, she fights.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So there's a look at the picks with a couple of them going different directions there in race number 3. We're going to skip over a couple here. Race number 4 does start the pick 6, by the way. The 5th race is down to now a field of 7. We're going to go to race number 6. It is the next division of the grassroots for the 2-year-old pacing fillies. Team McNair back with another one that, again, she was gold at the start. She was turning heads in the qualifiers, and then it just wasn't working out for her in the first couple of outings as far as a win goes. But some retooling, a couple of weeks off, and she came back with a stronger effort last time. How was she as far as handling?
Ace and a 10,
Yeah.
much better. I mean, you know what? In post-parade, though, she was a little bit rambunctious, though.
Okay.
She was throwing her head a little bit, jumping around. Wasn't sure how she was going to respond, heading to the gate. But she did make a bridle change there. She actually went to the Swedish blinds in that event. So, Doug started her open and eventually closed the bridle towards the head of the stretch. And she just jogged last time out. And, this is a filly that showed a lot of speed. But unfortunately, she just wasn't able to carry it all the way at all times. And I thought she did a great job last time out and put forth a dominant effort. I don't know if she's going to be cutting the mile tonight per se, but there's a filly that you want to follow in here in Lions Bulldog. And I think if she can work out a pretty sweet trip, I do think that this Greg McNair trainee has a little bit more, especially on the end of it. She might not have the grit and toughness, but I think that she's got more speed in here, Chad. And I'm opting to go all in on Ace and a 10 here and hoping that she can just build off that most recent effort because you and I both know she's got a lot of speed and a lot of talent when she's on her game.
Yeah, she's going to have to find a way to get past Lions Bulldog. Maybe the trick is to be ahead of her to begin with.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who knows, right? But yeah, she is tough to pass. Lions Bulldog in there. No surprise to see her popular. And then, Rallis is going to go Ace and a 10. We do see, Twinbee Girl Talk was another one. When she won that pari-mutuel debut, I thought, ooh, there's a nice looking filly here. She's got some talent, but they've ended up, changing course now, going from the gold to the grassroots, and she nearly won last time. So this division could end up being a little more competitive than maybe initially we think.
Yeah, but Tony Beaton already having a couple of really nice gold fillies, right?
Yep.
Obviously, Twinbee Copacabana, Waves of Fortune, and Twinbee Girl Talk, who obviously proved that she could potentially be competitive at that level. I think the other two fillies just a notch above, but that was a nice effort by Twinbee Girl Talk. She tried coming up the inside last time out, couldn't quite get there, but as we've seen so far early on in her career, you just can't go by Lions Bulldog just yet.
Nice pickup for JD too.
Big time.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done some really nice job driving some of those Tony Beaton charges.
Yeah, exactly. Over to race number 7. Late pick 4 gets underway here. So here we've got some explaining to do. Okay, we've got a group of 9. You did have a replay on exactly. We're still going to scrap it, but here's the word. Exactly scratched in error.
Okay.
So he is going to race,
Oh.
but it's going to be purse money only.
Okay.
Which, does that make things easier on you? I don't know. Again, you were still trying to beat a favorite, but he's not going to be available to be wagered on, but he is going to race. So there it is.
Okay.
He will race for purse money only, so he was scratched in air. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. So it is a field of 8 that you can wager on. It certainly, maybe does make it a little more competitive. I don't know, in there, exactly how effective was it going to be anyway. Up to Laura Hanover, connections have got to be thrilled with how she's come back from whatever issue it was that sidelined her, and now this is going to be a stiffer test. You've got horses like Land the Plain who are still trying to kind of regain some form. Dusty Rhodes is, come push to start for Ashley Lenvoy, back into the mix. Where'd you end up going?
I ended up going to the far outside. I'll have the red. I'm hoping that Trevor Henry and Rick Zeron, they actually had a post 9 winner score last night in Outlast, who got the job done at double digits. I'm hoping they can.
Price too for Trevor.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can repeat here from post number 9. Good omen. Trevor Henry from post 9 was able to deliver in the opener, was able to deliver for Rick Zeron on Outlast, and I'm hoping he can do the same here with the starter of Chapter 7, who I think has just been getting sharper and sharper with each and every start.
Yeah, and we're going to show actually a replay. And the focus here is going to be, I'll have the red, it is that August 10th outing. So, here's one that gets away well from the 3-hole, but then takes a shuffle all the way to the 8th, turning for home, and then has to regain the composure. And you can see right now just into a tough spot, but, does not bad considering what she had to end up making up in the stretch.
I completely agree. And you know what? She was up against it from the filly that was on the lead in this spot, Shimmering Hanover, who strung together a few good efforts, including a track record performance at the Meadows, I believe, after this victory. And there's Trevor Henry right now. He's just looking for a seam to let this filly trot, and looking and looking and looking. And now he starts to angle her out, and now she's got clearance to take her charge, and he's giving her a couple of whip taps, and she starts to move forward. And I think she's trotting really, really well. I think making a miscue the start prior, I think she needed a nice little covered up trip like this, and look at her motor home. I think that I'll have the red. I think her efforts as of late have been really good. I think she's got the gate speed to get situated in a pretty good spot in this contest.
I've been leaving with her lately too, right?
And how about the run out there? I mean, Shimmering there, I know Bob more or less had her wrapped up afterwards, but Trevor Henry started his charge up the moment that he found clearance, and I thought that she was responding really, really well. I actually thought that exactly. I mean, he's the horse to beat on paper, don't get me wrong, but I thought he was a good favorite to potentially fade. If you're going to get a horse at that short of a number, though, Chad, at what, 2 to 5, 1 to 5, you have to absolutely love him, and I can't say that I did in this particular spot.
Yeah, are you under the belief that Up to Laura Hanover will just continue to improve?
I think so. She's always...
that's what I would think.
She's always shown to be a nice filly. I'm actually going to use her in the pick 5 sequence as well, because I do think that she merits respect. And again, that was a nice, easy victory. She didn't get away in a particularly good spot, but she was still the easiest of winners last time out.
All right, John going to the outside, looking for Henry and Zeron to connect again in race number 7 to kick off the late pick 4. Final grassroots division for the rookie pacing fillies comes up in race number 8. We've got a group of 7 in here. You do have one that, was pretty sharp in winning her debut in Delray Sealster, and then they tried a different approach with her. I thought all in all she raced okay to be third. She'll be, I think, better tonight because of that experience. Maybe just has to, go with a bit of a different trip in here. Love My Frenchie, though, is one that you want to focus in on and show a replay. And obviously not the latest one because we saw the miscue, but it was the start prior.
Yeah, I believe we did highlight this replay on the last time that she was in to go, but I want to show it one more time. And she's going to be reacquainted here with driver Jody Jamieson, who guided her in that third place finish last time out. There's going to be some adjustments here by Dave Maneri as well. I believe a bridle change as well as, loosening up the hopples or tightening them up just a little bit, going from 59 to 58. So really excited to see Love My Frenchie in to go tonight. But you mentioned Delray Sealster, Chad. I mean, I think that was just too much too early for her in start number 2. So she's definitely going to be the one to beat. But here's I Love My Frenchie, who was driven aggressively last time out, and she was in with some pretty tough fillies. Obviously, Waves of Fortune, we know, is a gold filly. She was supposed to deliver in that spot. But look at Jody. They have hit the top of the lane. He's looking for room with a Dave Maneri charge. And, Doug's not often going to give up an inside lane if he doesn't have to, right? And he keeps that lane shut. Jody's just looking for a spot. He's going to keep her engaged, but he's hoping that inside lane can open up. It doesn't. And he's going to try and find a seam right inside. And you can see the fillies on the outside. They've already got the momentum. And the moment that Jody finds a seam, I thought this filly took a step forward in that spot and was moving forward. I think this is one that hopefully she can stay pacing here because she was in with the likes of Ace in a 10. I don't know if she was going to beat her, per se, but she was leaving out of there before making that miscue. So she was going to be working out a pretty good trip, whether it be on the engine or sitting the 2-hole to Ace in a 10. But I think Love My Frenchie has major bounce back potential here in this spot.
Yeah, and you talk about effective control being good in there too, but then what happens to her next start?
Yeah, just really not, not a
good news is she hasn't missed any time.
No.
Right? So whatever happened wasn't anything major, by any means, and she gets a better draw to work from in here. But yeah, I'm intrigued by Delray Sealster. I just wonder what the trip scenario will be, and because of that experience now going that speed, I mean, she's dropped quite a bit of time already.
Yep.
In her first couple of outings, but there's a lot of ability there.
Absolutely, and one of those things where you stretch them out early on. We see them when they have a covered up trip to start after. We know she's going to put forth a big effort, so I wouldn't worry too much about that effort last time out. I think she just needs an easier trip.
All right, race number 9 to kick off the late double. Non-winners of 2 on the trot here. We've got a group of 7. We don't have any replays that we're going to be focusing in on, but we do want to touch on a couple, including Emerald Island. I mean, Emerald Island was one that missed a lot of time, was able to come back and score an upset, but then, although it wasn't a win next time out, I think proved that it was certainly no fluke.
No,
right, to be second. At the non-winners of 2, J.R. Plant. I'm assuming Plant's not here tonight.
He's not here tonight.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because there was a couple of horses where he drove last time, but James McDonald will be a fine replacement in here. I would think this one's got to get some play. What about Alpha Blue Chip or even Emmy Laurel in here?
Yeah, Alpha Blue Chip, definitely one that is going to be a speed factor. This is one that definitely merits some respect as well. Emmy Laurel, the shoeing change, interesting, going from flip-flops to aluminum, I believe. In this particular outing, exiting a gold try. We know this horse can be competitive when she's at her best, and she should be competitive in a spot like this. She's taken on much tougher horses throughout the course of her young career as well. But Emerald Island, the only concern is going to be the rail. I think that she's proven so far in limited action in her career that she can step up or continue to step up and put forth another competitive effort.
Yeah, 1, 6, and 7. I mean, the morning line favorites seem like the main ones for sure here,
I have
right?
a tough time backing anybody else in this spot.
Yeah, and actually, that's exactly what we're seeing here. So not everybody going Alpha Blue Chip on top, but everybody going 1, 6, and 7 in the top 3, and then almost everybody using the fourth choice in Vista Verde as well. That's a look at race number 9. The finale closes out with jackpot high 5, 219,000 plus.
It's growing.
It is growing, and you know, when we start to get that kind of number, we start kind of figuring in our head, okay, when's Woodbine Entertainment? What day are they planning on? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say the word, but when are they planning on maybe having this up for grabs?
Yeah,
you know?
I'm hoping they let it ride.
Yeah, I'd love to see it ride. You know, like back in the old days. I just think it's wishful thinking. I think it will be on one of the, upcoming big days. Which one, I don't know. But we've got Pop-Up Series Final to close things out. Des DeCoeur, he's got himself he didn't get the other one in.
No, he opted to bypass
okay.
this time out. Southland Sambuca, who came
Got
off
off the Schneid.
convincing score. Sometimes a change of scenery does a horse some good, right?
Yep.
I mean, he spent a lot of time. Actually,
He would have had a real nice 1-2 punch here. He's obviously got a real good one anyway.
Yep. I think he spent all the time in Vic Putty's care when he was racing on Canadian soil.
Yep.
Des ended up claiming him and did some good things. We've seen that so many times from Des. You know, he claims horses, adds them on Lasix if he feels like they need them, and they put forth big efforts. Plug's still in last time out for Southland Zambuca, but I tell you what, there was an 11-person shake, I believe, on Titanic
There were
Hanover.
2 horses that had 11 in on them. Who was the other one?
Des and Ryan Willis end up winning the shake, so 2 lucky individuals getting a horse that's going to be the overwhelming choice in the final.
Yeah, I messaged him and told him to go buy a lottery ticket.
He might as well, yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
Not everybody can be that lucky, can they?
Yeah, maybe this is his lottery ticket.
You're right. A Pop-Up Series Final for 25.
If he's watching us right now, phones are going to start blowing up here in a minute, and he's going to say, why don't you guys just be quiet and move on?
All right.
But yeah, is that who you went with?
Yeah, it's tough to go against Titanic Hanover. And look, we know that Des DeCoeur typically he'll call James McDonald's number, Doug McNair's number often. He's going to stick with Louis, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, Louis gets along with Titanic Hanover so well. They've had a lot of success when paired up together, but we are going to see going from blinkers to blind, so they are going to make, Des is going to elect to make a bridle change as well, so like I said, I think this is a horse that's going to be popular in the claim box yet again. I can't imagine Des is going to be able to stick with him beyond tonight, but he's going to be the overwhelming choice in this spot for good reason.
Yeah, curious to see what Murner can do with Glory View Image, in this spot. And then Randy going Doc's Rock, the high
always liked
percentage
him.
Gerard Demers barn. He went to Grand River. Did that protect him from maybe being claimed? I don't know. I mean, he was still in for a claimer there, but he romped, and now he's going to give him a shot here.
Yeah, I thought Fabrizio was good last time out, too. We know that guy has, that old boy has some class, and he put forth a nice effort last time out. Good to see him back in Dwayne Marfisi's barn. We know he had some success and familiarity with him in the past. So I think he's one that can be a bit of a ticket player. But Doc's Rock, I know Randy's backed him a couple of times already. He's hoping to, back him at a price here this evening because that's exactly what he's going to be in this spot.
He's looking for that lone wolf.
Yep.
What Randy's doing. Again, so, over $200,000 already in carryover money in that high 5. Let's get into some tickets for Mr. Rallis and what he does. This is his bread and butter. This is what he looks forward to. So an early pick 5, guaranteed at $75,000. Just the one single for you, but it's Midnight Matrimony in that first grassroots division. But you haven't gone terribly deep in any of the other legs.
No, I just felt like this was a bit of a value single, right? I wanted to try and find one, and I had a tough time separating certain horses. I think there's horses in certain legs that are the one to beat. I think Out the Window probably could have been a single. I don't think that was that horse's trip last time out. I think the horse is better suited with a covered up helmet trip, with a target to chase, I should say. But oh boy, intrigues me. Midnight Matrimony, though, I think this one's going to be a nice little separator in this sequence. And race number 5, a bit tricky. Solar Voltage missing a month of action, but I think this one's a contender. Better's Mystery, I thought showed improvement last time out. In Trash in Your Dreams, a 2-year-old, a gold colt, missing a couple of weeks, or a few weeks, I should say, coming into this contest, but I still think he figures in this spot.
Yeah, Better's Mystery, your top pick. Now a better draw with a couple of scratches to the inside. Now not so bad.
No, not so bad at all.
In there. Okay, next ticket we're going to dial up here for John. The late pick 5, is that what we were told?
A couple of singles, I believe I've got in that sequence.
Yeah, there it
well.
is.
So bookend singles for me, Ace in a 10, as well as Titanic Hanover. And again, I was looking to fade Exactly, who's still going to be competing tonight, but again, just you can't wager on him in this spot. But I'll have the Reds going to be my top pick, and I feel pretty good about the rest of my legs. I just feel like I got to get past that first leg's going to be tough, I'd have to say. Ace and a 10. I know a lot of people are going to go to Lions Bulldogs direction for good reason.
And again, that 7th race, folks, exactly the 5, who obviously figures to be a major player in there, scratched in air. So he does race, but it's for purse money only. So he's not going to be available to be wagered on whatsoever in there. The other 8, however, are. But exactly will, in fact, be competing in there. Plays of the night is what we'll leave you with, as I'm going to head upstairs, have some fun down here tonight, buddy. Good luck with the plays, and take it away.
All right, my value play, as I mentioned, Midnight Matrimony. She's going to be a single for me in that early pick 5. My best bet's going to be another Doug McNair, Greg McNair tandem, ace and a 10 to kick off that late pick 5. My price play, I'll have the red in race number 7. My all-in is going to be Titanic Hanover, hoping that he can get another big score here with Louis Waugh, new trainer, Des Tucour. Going to look at some plays of the night as well from Mr. Randy Waples. He's not with us here this evening, but he did send in a 4-pack. Emma Townbud, his all-in, beat the fave, Solar Voltage, as Waples watched Delray Sealster, and worth a look is going to be Doc's Rock. So there's a look at Randy's thoughts on this Monday night program, and let's take a look at some of our resident handicappers and their selections. Garnet Barnsdale going to trash in your dreams. It's going to be a spot play here as the lone 2-year-old in that 5th race. Up to Laura Hanover, Kevin Plaucha's spot play. I like it. That filly's been sharp. And Ghislaine Piquet, his beat the fave in race number 8 is going to be my bets on Bob. So we've got 5 minutes to go before we kick off this Monday night program. We've got some grassroots action, 2 pick 5s, and a pretty competitive wagering card. Good luck.